This is WOOK Radio, bringing you a breaking news update. Valley Jam has been shut down early tonight as members of the Fuzz have discovered an underground gang war and drug smuggling ring happening in the background of the venue. Suspects include known ne'er-do-well gangsters, the Heavens Devils and the Gassers, and new players to the scene, identified by some witnesses as the Happy Tricksters. The Fuzz is working diligently to identify these suspects, who are to be considered armed and dangerous. Counted amongst the Happy Tricksters are known counterfeiters Elijah Woodstone and John Paul, the murderous geriatric known only as Granny Glenda, and the equally dangerous youth rat folk Remy the Riz. Then, of course, their ringleader, who calls himself King Kenzie, a man who masquerades as a benevolent guide for travelers in order to lure more members to his gang. The corpos have issued posted caricatures of these Happy Tricksters' likenesses around the road and offer a bounty for any information leading to the arrest of these dangerous criminals. So far, multiple eyewitnesses have stepped forward to speak. Yeah. I recognize those guys. They visited my gas station, and they bought some supplies with gold, but when I checked the till at the end of the night, all I had was copper. Yeah, man, I think I recognize those guys. They were trying to follow me and my friends around at the West Kendall Renaissance Fest. They did not pass the vibe check. The most damning report comes from the shopkeeper near Valley Jam. Yeah, I don't know what she was on about, but that rat folk was all up in my business before that crew slaughtered their rival gang across the street. I mean, I'm no fan of the Gassers or the Devils, but by Luund, they left bodies dangling in the air from nothing. Reports claim that the iconic Happy Tricksters bus was last seen heading south on the road towards Yamaya, the city by the Beast Beaches. Should you happen to see the iconic Happy Tricksters bus or any sight of these ne'er-do-well travelers, contact authorities. Do not attempt to engage. We will keep our listeners posted for any updates on these armed and dangerous suspects slinking about the road. Stay tuned to WOOK Radio for more news updates.
Wooks and Warlocks contains sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and unbelievable, horrible catatonic regret. No one should listen to this, but if you do, there is a content warning in the description. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill, and it looks like the Fuzz are on to the crew. Next thing you know it, they're gonna be strung up in a cell. There's no telling what's to come on Wooks and Warlocks.
Hello and welcome to Wooks and Warlocks, a role-playing tour through the summer of love. In this podcast, we will be playing out a story of adventure and magic using dice and skills to determine the outcomes of our actions. My name is Trey Miller, and I will play the role of Game Master for this journey. I am joined by three of the finest folks to roll the dice. Please introduce yourselves and your characters.
My name's Anthony Ryan. I'll be playing the bug folk Drake Warden, Xantor, and his little buddy Drake.
My name is Jessie Bennett. I will be playing Granny Glenda. She is a half fox folk rogue.
My name is John Lombardi. I'll be playing Elijah Woodstone, the elk folk farm wizard.
When last we journeyed alongside the Happy Tricksters, they had been joined by new companions, fellow travelers on the road, two from the far past, like a Granny Glenda, Xantor, and Elijah Woodstone, Remy Riz, the Ratfolk Rogue, and Norland the Good Boy, the Dogfolk Fighter.
had joined with the crew, along with Brody Malone, a newfound bard from the modern era, receiving magical powers from the strange events transpiring across Luund. While the Valley Jam began as any normal festival would for these first-time festival folk and long-term veterans, the Happy Tricksters fast found themselves afoul of a group of gangsters in the forest, distributing strange, hideous laughing gas and other hard drugs to the guests at the festival. They discovered that these gangsters had murdered police officers and that they were accompanied by none other than one of the Wooks, who had stolen one of the items from the travelers from the past. After a pitched battle, the crew was able to recover Remy Riz's astrolabe, along with thousands of bucks, some ammunition, and new pursuers in the form of the backup fuzz officers who quickly came to investigate the scene. Elijah, using his control flames, set the place ablaze as the crew returned to the festival grounds. There they found Owlsley, deeply intoxicated on a mysterious substance, distributing grilled cheeses. The group partied into the evening or rested as their tastes dictated. And the following day, as the afternoon dawned, the group was greeted by Owlsley once more, his eyes the size of small saucers. Owlsley claimed he had distilled a new substance that would help explain the mysteries happening in Luund, and perhaps even allow the group to meet and greet the gods themselves. After some peer pressure and coercion, the group decided to put drops of this liquid spittle from Drake onto some of Granny Glenda's benign cookies, turning the cookies into a powerful psychedelic. Penny Lane had already left for the festival, so the rest of the crew ate their delicious treats and then walked into the event, hoping to find their friend and invite her to join on their psychedelic journey. They were unable to locate Penny Lane and instead shared her cookie with Jimmy Jim Jams, their old friend and vendor from the past. Under the throes of this powerful psychedelic, the group ebbed and flowed to the vibes of the music until finally the Warlocks took the stage, and as their trip peaked and the cascading sounds around them brought them to a place of otherworldly trance, the group achieved a synergy of mind and transcended into a pocket dimension of the astral plane, where they were greeted by the divine visage of the god of partying themselves, Festivius. In this place, Festivius revealed to the group that they were destined, chosen warriors, brought to the future by the thoughtful, thoughtless wish of King Kenzie, who was actually himself a traveler from the far past, the first to visit the far future. His wish, King Kenzie, his name lost to time, was the final king to be granted a wish by the Warlocks in their towers. His wish, simple as it may be,
was to become a hero, a true hero, and to have the help that he would need to accomplish that goal. The monkey paw unclenched. The monkey paw clenched, capturing King Kenzie in his grasp and drawing him to the far future, to the year 1960, where he crash-landed without magic, without guidance, without friends, was forced to navigate through the 60s in Luund until the summer of love, where the magic and rock and roll of the 1960s brought back faith in the old gods, faith, hope, love, magic, and partying itself, bringing life to these ancient divine beings, bringing them back into the world once more, and connecting the line through time that caused the travelers of the road in the far past to be launched to the future. Fastivius and King Kenzie revealed all of this before turning to Remy Riz, Norland the Good Boy, and Brody Malone, and instructing them on their own new path. Remy Riz, Brody Malone, and Norland the Good Boy were sent to use Remy's astrolabe to find a lost hidden path to the road. But they would not be alone. They would be in a race with Norland the Good Boy's old master, who used the captured astrolabe while it was in the Wook's possession to lead a small group to find this hidden ancient road. Just as all of this was revealed, as the vibes ebbed and flowed, suddenly ripples in the music began to form. Seemingly simple at first, the music stopped and the ripples were replaced by the sounds of sirens. And as the pocket dimension faded around the Happy Tricksters and company, it became obvious that the fuzz, dozens abreast with weapons drawn, accompanied by the flashing lights and sirens of their vehicles, were clearing the large field where the Warlocks had just been performing at Valley Jam. The festival was being shut down and the group was brought. And the group was forced to travel back to camp in a rush. As they rushed back to their camp, they found that the van, their chariot, the vessel that carried them, all that they valued, all that they hoped to hold sacred in the world, was not at camp. And Penny Lane was still nowhere to be found. As the crew looked around, hoping beyond hope for some sort of evidence or indication, their neighbors, in the midst of breaking down their camp, turned up the speakers on their car radio as a broadcast, an emergency broadcast from WOOK News hit the airwaves. As the words reverberate in your ears, the truth dawns on you. The festival has been shut down, partially due to your actions in the deep forest. The Happy Tricksters are now known to the fuzz as gangsters, and what's more, it sounds as though your bus has been seen traveling south on the road to Yamaya by the Beast Beaches. We return to our scene as John Paul bids goodbye to Remy Riz, Norland the Good Boy, and Brody Malone as they begin their separate journey following the astrolabe to seek the ancient lost road. All right, y'all. It's been lovely hanging. I'm sure we're going to see you again. Don't be strangers, I'm sure these roads intersect. All roads do at some point. Well, unless they're parallel, but there's nothing truly parallel in this world. Gosh, listen to me. I'm trying to ignore the reality. You see John Paul turn and look at all of you. Did you... You heard that, right?
Yeah, it sounds like we're in a bit of trouble. We might want to get out of here.
Well, I think we should head in the direction that apparently our bus is going, since it has all our belongings on it.
Yeah, you heard the radio. The bus was headed south. It's got all our stuff in it. What, John Paul, do you guys got an extra ride, or is there anybody you know of we can hitch a ride with?
Well, right now, anyone we know at the festivals, well, they're in a rush to leave themselves. I suppose we could go try to fly our thumbs by the road and see what happens. Hey, King, what do you think? And you see that King Kenzie is curled up, sitting on the ground with his knees at his chest. He does not answer.
I think that's a terrible idea. I mean, right now everybody knows what we look like. They know that we're wanted, and, who's going to say if we're actually going to get a ride from a real friend or somebody who just wants to turn us into the fuzz?
Yeah, I don't know if we can trust anybody, but I did notice that they didn't say Xantor's name on the broadcast.
Yeah, Xantor's just kind of walking around. He's like, Boots! He's looking for his pet cat. He's looking for Drake. He's making sure he's got his companions with him. He didn't really. He kind of thought it was weird because he heard King Kingsley with the other characters, and he was like, oh, they probably just left him out or whatever. He kind of feels like a ninja right now, like he can sneak around and get away with stuff. But he's looking for Boots to see if
roll for perception.
And then aside from that, he would just be checking on King, make sure he's all right, and trying to send Boots over there to him. You said a perception roll?
You do not know where Boots is currently.
That's what we're looking for.
Roll for perception.
All righty. Bear with me. Natty 20.
Meow. Oh, nice.
Meow. You look up and
Boots, what are you doing up there?
Meow. In the tree in front of you is your cat friend.
Come on down from there.
Meow.
He's reaching up towards him and stuff, trying to coax him out of the tree, and he's like, Boots, go talk to King, man. See how he's doing. Go rub up on him. He seems like he's having a rough time.
So the Boots looks at you coyly, as though they're not going to do what you say. They sort of arch their back. Then, at the end of their lovely little stretch, Boots rushes to the end of the branch and leaps to land in King Kenzie's lap, or to attempt to land in King Kenzie's lap. King Kenzie shoos Boots away.
No, leave me alone.
I've seen a man in that condition before. I think the only way we are going to get him out of here is if we carry him.
Don't you touch me, woman.
You hear King Kenzie mutter as he looks down.
This is all my fault. The least I can do is handle my own.
You asked for this.
I didn't ask for this.
What do you mean your fault? Did you call the fuzz, man?
You heard Festivius. This, all of you are here because of me. I just wanted to help. I never thought it could ever be selfish to want to help. I thought the greatest thing a king could do with their wish was to wish to help others and to wish for others to have the chance to help others. But my actions have caused you all to be drawn through time and space, and now look, we're fugitives, wanted by the law, wanted by the corpos. We'll never escape this. It's over for us.
Well, I was a fugitive in my last life, too, and I think it's pretty easy to hide out once you get the hang of it.
See, we got a pro on us.
Yeah, it's just a hero's journey, King. This is just the downside, man. Come on, get up. We got this. We're going to get through it.
roll for everyone. Let's get everyone roll for persuasion to see if you're able to cheer up King Kenzie.
17.
14.
7.
So let's see. What is the average of 7, 14, and 17? So that 24 plus 15 is going to be 39 divided by 3. Is that
12.66666667?
My goodness. So you see King looks up at you all, and nothing changes about his expression. He has not been convinced to cheer up, but he will get to his feet.
I don't think we should hitch a ride at this time. I concur with Granny Glenda, and I will lean on her expertise as the pro-con in this scenario. I am thankfully without expertise in the world of being a wanted criminal.
You see that he is just downtrodden. He doesn't even look up or make eye contact with anyone as speaking. And John Paul, you see John Paul walk over to him and sort of raise a hand as though he's going to comfort his friend and tap him on the shoulder, and he hesitates and just pulls his hand back, shakes his head, and walks back. All right, come on, y'all. I guess let's get out of here before the fuzz come around. We've got the advantage that they seem to think that we're traveling. Oh gosh, I hope everything's okay with Penny Lane. Should we look for Penny? Are we sure
Penny's gone?
Have you seen Penny, Xantor? Where the fuck have you been?
I've been high, man. I've been really
I'm
high.
sorry, I yelled. I'm high too. We've all been really high, and you're the only you're
I love her.
friend. You love her?
If she didn't make it back to camp by now, I imagine I'd have to think that she's probably with the van.
God,
Well, why don't we just look around real quick?
Oh my God.
Roll for perception.
And look, guys, I got this fuzz radio we snatched off that hanging porker back there. So if we need that for anything, we can use that too.
Why don't you turn it on? See what they're saying.
21.
21 for perception. So Granny Glenda's looking around, and you see no signs of struggle. You notice that there are some footprints around the van that look like big leather biker boots, and you see that it looks like, for all intents and purposes, some folks with big heavy boots came up and I apologize, I'm getting this all wrong. So with your 21, Granny Glenda, you notice that around where the van is, you see footprints. You see evidence of passage. It looks almost exactly like, as you look from the footprints to the feet of your companions, it looks like everyone is accounted for where the van was. It almost looks exactly like the whole crew gathered up, got into the van, and drove off. And you do see Penny Lane's footprints there as well, or at least an additional set of footprints that look like they would match John Paul's footprints.
Now, I don't think I'm going crazy or anything, but it appears as though it looks like we all climbed into this van with Penny Lane and drove off. I mean, look at these footprints. I mean, come step on them and see if they match your feet.
I see there's my hoof prints. That's definitely about the same size as mine.
As you guys are investigating the scene, your neighbors who had the radio on turn and look at you. They say, Hey, wait a minute. You guys left like way earlier. I watched you get in your van. Like, and you guys all left. And are you guys the ones?
they were just talking about on the radio?
Oh no, sweetie, that's not us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nah, it was the ones that we're not them. We're not them.
We've been partying all weekend. You guys had the grilled cheeses. They were great. Like, I swear, but I saw you get in the van. Like,
How long ago was this?
I mean, it must have been like an hour ago. It was like before the Warlocks started.
Did you get their names?
Did I get your...
Yeah, well,
Xantor, right?
Chantor.
Chantor?
Yeah.
That's not what... All right. Whatever, dude. Look. If you guys are who's on the radio, there's a lot of people looking for you. I'm going to go. And he turns and he's going to finish packing his camper truck. He's got one of those truck topper campers, and he puts all of his gear in there and drives on away.
Is our stuff still laid about? Like the bedroll and stuff like that?
Yeah, so anything that would have been set up as your camp that wasn't... So they it looks like everything has been packed up and put away.
Okay.
Into the van. Almost kind of corroborating the story that you just heard, that it was like you guys showed up with Penny Lane, broke down camp, loaded the van, and then left.
Well, clearly somebody's impersonating us. I think it's essential to find Penny Lane as soon as we can. It just seems like she might be in real danger.
Real danger.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Let's go.
Although it does kind of like split the
poor
heat on
sister.
us in half.
Yeah, it's very interesting because there appears to be some kind of mimicry going on. Because we're us, right? You guys, right?
I'm gonna look into this, see if I can read anything into that type of magic.
I'm gonna look into Drake's eyes and do that little thaumaturgy dragon eye thing, just so I know that I'm me and he's him. Our eyes meet, and I'm confirmed that I am in fact me.
You are you, and Drake Warden is you, and everyone's still feeling the afterglow of the liquid spittle from the Drake. Owlsley walks up. Hoo-hoo! Ill omens indeed. I feel a certain level of responsibility. I thought we were in a safe place. Hoo! Hoo! We've seemed to have made some powerful enemies. Let us go. Owlsley's gonna try to encourage everyone to start leaving.
Yeah, Granny Glinda's leaving.
We going on foot here, guys?
Yeah.
I think we're hoofing it.
I don't see any other
No pun
choice.
intended.
All right, how you feeling, King? You back up in there with us?
Leave me to my thoughts.
Okie doke.
He is quite dour. There's like a cloud of bitter energy resonating around King right now. The path leading out of the festival does include, you guys are far from the only folks walking out of walking out of Valley Jam today. You managed to blend in with the several hundred folks making their way down the road. They peter off in various directions as you travel, thinning to dozens of folks. As the time passes, as you guys are traveling down the road, you begin to hear the sound of sirens as police cars travel down the road, and you see lights being shined. Well, it's daytime, so you see officers getting out and accosting those walking down the road, removing hoods, removing hats, looking them in the face, checking identities.
Perhaps we should get in the woods.
Yeah, let's get into the woods. There's them fuzz up there.
I love the woods.
The mountains have begun to turn to foothills here at the Valley Jam, and you are able to find densely wooded areas on either side of the road. You travel into the forest, taking turns
leading, cutting paths. You hear in the distance the sound of barking dogs. How do you react?
Granny Glinda's gonna hide in a bush.
Yeah, I'll do a stealth check as well.
I'm just gonna freeze.
Okay, so Granny Glinda and Xantor roll a stealth check. Elijah is freezing, and we'll roll a stealth check with disadvantage. We'll call that.
No. Natural 1.
19.
Dirty 20.
With
disadvantage.
disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 17, then a 16.
So, Xantor, where do you hide?
Xantor would try to like scramble up a tree or something.
So Xantor makes it up a tree, and Elijah stands stark still. The dogs rush directly past to leap at the bush where Granny Glinda is hiding. Granny Glinda, how do you react?
I suppose she would grab a rock and then try to climb up a tree as fast as she can, and rub her scent on a rock and throw.
So, okay, rub your scent on a rock and throw it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and roll a survival check.
Can I assist with any kind of animal handling or anything? Like to make a noise, a dog noise or something?
No, not really.
21.
So you're able to throw the rock and send the dogs away chasing the rock. However, there are now people who were following the dogs who have reached the area where you guys are now treed. And Elijah is standing on the ground. So how are you guys going to react?
Run? I mean,
So just hear me out. I do have a fragmentation grenade, I believe.
you're gonna blow them up?
I think less murder right now
Okay,
would probably be
okay.
better. I'm not opposed to killing people when it's necessary, but
Not
this
dogs.
feels like not
Not
dogs,
dogs.
and
Okay,
also
yeah.
these are people that we're talking about. But I think there's too many. There's too many fuzz around, too much fuzz around.
Might be
for
a lot
us
of
to-
noise too, probably.
It would not be a good idea.
Just saying, from up in the tree, just drop it on down.
I think our best option would try to be to run and hide, or perhaps throw them off of the trail somehow.
So the dogs are currently heading away from where Granny Glinda was hidden. Granny Glinda and Xantor are in trees, and Elijah is on the ground. So you can make an acrobatics check to try to get out of the trees and start running. Elijah, you can make an athletics check to see if you are able to outrun the fuzz coming from behind you.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna book it.
Xantor, are you leaving the tree?
Yep. If everybody else is going, Xandor's going to try to get out of there. We think we
Acrobatics.
got distance at this time to... It's not like they're not like standing right there.
No, they're probably 40 to 50 feet out, and the dogs have caught up with you, but were then sent about 20 feet further away via Granny Glinda. Granny Glinda, did you roll for acrobatics?
I got a 12.
So as you land, you're going to roll your ankle and take a D4 of damage,
Did 19.
and you're going to lose 5 feet on your movement speed. So you're going just a little bit slower than everybody else right now.
Got a 12 for athletics.
So you manage to take off running and put no distance between yourself and the folks pursuing you, but they also don't catch up with you. Xantor?
17.
With your 17, you leap from the tree and do a little somersault as you land and take off in full stride. You are able to put 10 feet additional between you and your pursuers. You see the rest of the crew leaping from their various hiding spots and dashing forward. For now, everyone is still traveling in a pack, and the folks are pursuing you. You see Owlsley pulls some sort of potion vial from his pack, and he's going to toss it backwards, and a fog cloud appears, and your pursuers are obscured. You cannot see them. Presumably, they cannot see you.
Since they can't see us right now, I guess Granny Glinda's going to try to pick up a stick and do the same, throw it to make some noise in the opposite direction to see if they chase that.
Alrighty. You want to call this like a sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Can I use like thaumaturgy to wherever that stick lands also make some voices come from over there?
Yeah, big time. Since you guys are doing that together, why don't you make this with advantage?
26.
All right, so with your 26, the stick lands, and what sound do you make it make?
Like Kinsey's voice, like King Kinsey's voice, like, let's go over this way, guys.
Okay, so you throw the stick, and as it lands, come on, let's go this way, you all. We're traveling this way. To the left, he screams as it lands, and you all, the group, of course, cuts right, and you dash away, putting another dramatic distance between you and your pursuers. It seems that all is well, but it is possible the dogs still have your scent. Is there anything else you guys would like to do to try to get away from your pursuers?
Are there any rivers or creeks or anything nearby?
Roll for perception.
Along with the rivers and creeks, I would also like to look for plants that might have a particularly smelly aroma.
Okie dokie.
I got 18 for the rivers and creeks.
I got a 12 for the plants.
So you guys don't notice any particular plants around, but the Xantor, looking down to the ground, being familiar with the forest, looking for signs of wetlands, you see that the ground is becoming increasingly more moist, traveling far to your right, which would be westward, and you get the impression that there would be a river or a creek that way.
All right, guys, I know we're supposed to go south, but I'm pretty sure if we go west a little bit, there might be a river. We might be able to dunk off, clean ourselves, get our scent off, maybe lose the dogs that way. I don't know, but what do you think?
I like the way you're thinking.
That is actually a very good idea.
I'm willing to try anything at this point. Woohoo! We've got to go. We've got to go now. So
right, turn right.
The crew dashes forward, and true enough, about 50 feet forward of you in the western direction is a small but deep mountain stream, roughly 10 feet across, and you are able to pass through the stream before your pursuers are able to identify that you have sent them on a false path. For now, at least, it would seem that you have managed to evade the fuzz.
To the south now, I suppose.
Is the creek, I guess, because we went west, so is the creek running south? We're just
That
like
was my thought too. Like which
follow-
direction
yeah.
is the creek running in?
Oh, that sounds like it. I'm no expert on this sort of a thing. I usually just follow the roads, but I dare say well, it does seem like if we left going south, and well, the turns we made, and you see Owlsley looking at the sun and like trying to triangulate. Well, I suppose we could follow this south. It may even become brackish and lead straight to the beaches. And you see, you look around you, and you are deep in the woods. There's no sight or sign of the road or any other travelers. Small animals scurry about.
Well, since we lost the road, I'd say it's probably our safest bet right now to follow this creek.
I've been in the woods a very, very long time. I have many, many survival skills that I've accomplished over these years and used to find my way in different environments throughout Luund. If you guys wouldn't mind, I'll take a crack at it real quick. And do a survival check.
Sure.
Yeah, he holds his little hands up in the air, makes some weird little movements, and his antenna on his head start twitching one direction. And he's like, it's definitely this way. Definitely this way. I got a 22 on the roll.
Yeah, so with your 22, you correctly identify that this river is currently traveling southward. And with that, you're able to see where the sun is in the horizon and get a grasp for your directions, at least based on where you currently are in the woods. You're going to, do you guys choose to follow the river?
Yeah.
Could we potentially build a raft or something and float down the river a little bit of a way so our footprints aren't left on the riverbank? Or do you want to just think we assume that we lost them? And
Or we could walk in the shallow water too.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, we could walk into on the edge, but kind of amongst the rocks in the shallow water, kind of keep ourselves hidden. I wouldn't also be against possibly once we get out of the water and following the river, but kind of be on the woods line,
Ooh.
So we're not right out in the open next to the water,
I
just in case something comes along.
like the idea of the raft, but I fear
It would take too long.
no, the time, and I mean, it would leave quite a bit of evidence of our passage to cut down that much wood. Maybe if we get a little bit further down after a few nights, we could try. Woohoo! If this is the river I think it is, it will lead us a good way south. We'll be able to follow it for about a week before it turns, and we'll need to find a new landmark to lead us south to the Beast Beaches.
I guess we'll just get ready for a long walk, and then we'll find a nice spot to camp.
Yeah, we need to get good ways away. We should not stop now. We need to keep moving, get as far away as we can till nightfall, and then maybe set up a little camp. No fires tonight though. No fires.
Walk until we get tired.
King Kenzie just sort of repeats, "No fires, no fires."
All right, King.
The crew heads southward, following the river for a few hours until the sun begins to sink into the horizon, and it is time to make camp. No fires are set. Do you leave a watch for this evening?
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe we can take turns watching so we can all get a little bit of rest.
Yeah, I don't mind taking first watch.
I'm pooped.
All right, so first watch will be Elijah Woodstone with John Paul. Second watch will be Granny Glenda with Owlsley. Third watch will be Xantor with King Kenzie. All right then, Elijah. I suppose you and I will do the first watch. You watch the north side, I'll watch the south side. We'll have the river at our back. They won't be sneaking up on us there. As long as we're keeping a good eye out, we shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Sounds good, man.
All right, so go ahead and roll for perception.
Natural one.
So
Oh no.
night falls on the camp, and John Paul and Elijah Woodstone take stock of the surroundings, making extra certain to keep an eye out for the signs of any humanoid or animal folk that may be approaching. So focused are they on keeping an eye out for the fuzz that they forget the other dangers of life in the forest. And while the crew sleeps, a mountain lion sneaks up on Elijah Woodstone and leaps, making a surprise attack. Does a 16 hit Elijah Woodstone?
It would, but I will reaction cast shield.
Tink! The lion hits your shield that appears as a sphere around you, and it sort of comically caught in mid-leap with its arms wrapped around the invisible force protecting you. It slips and slides to the ground. It is your turn.
Oh man, I'm caught off guard. I'm going to attempt to cast mold earth on the area that it lands to make it difficult terrain, but something in like sparks inside of me, like because of my fear and the moment, and I actually cast erupting earth instead of mold earth, which is like a fucking 3rd level spell, like
nice.
Super damage that I just got.
How does it work?
So basically I choose a point and it erupts in a 20-foot cube.
Okay.
Basically it's like just like the earth, like a Avatar type thing, like the airbender or earthbenders. It just like shoots up a big jolt of the earth and like shoots this
Do I roll?
this
Does
cat
the
up into the
panther
air.
roll a saving throw?
Yeah, you it's a dex save of 16.
It fails.
And then so yeah, you take 3d12 bludgeoning damage.
All right, and that's going to be way more than enough to take care of this mountain lion. But let's just for fun see how much damage it is.
11 plus 9 is 20 plus another 11.
So this mountain lion is sent flying into the air, and all you hear is the sound as it shoots off and sort of does almost like an ET-like pass in front of the moon before flying off hundreds of yards into the distance. You do wake up the entirety of the camp.
My goodness, what the fuck was that? Elijah Woodstone, what have you done?
I did something. That was new.
Oh, that was a powerful spell, young man. You seem to be gaining in abilities.
Oh man, it took a lot out of me. I'm actually like quite exhausted from that.
So the rest of the night passes without, or the rest of your watch passes without event, and it is now Granny Glenda and Owlsley's turn for watch.
Oh, are you ready?
Oh, I suppose I am, although I would have enjoyed the early mornings because, you see, I like to wake up early, so midnight watch is a little rough for me.
Watch out for cats, y'all. I'm going to bed.
I got a 14 on my perception.
With your 14, you managed to keep a vigilant watch throughout your midnight hour. And you are left in peace by Owlsley. The birds of the night cry their caws as bugs sing their songs, but nothing else of interest happens as the night passes.
All right, Xantor, now it's your turn.
All right. Xandor like crawls out of his little tent, and he's still kind of groggy, but he's like starting to wake up and stuff. So he goes and takes and stands up, over by a tree, starts scanning the perimeter. Is it perception or survival?
Perception.
He got a 12.
With your 12, you managed to see in the far distance, across the river and through the woods, that there are lights and the sound of the fuzz searching.
Hey guys! We gotta get up.
They do not travel in your direction. You see them in the far perimeter.
Yeah, Xantor's just like keeping an eye on that. In his head, he's ready to wake up the whole party like quietly, but he sees them kind of turning away and, just keeps a real close eye on them.
I don't think they're coming this way.
King Kenzie walks up behind you and he says,
I think that we might have successfully eluded them for now, at least. Look, they seem to be turning.
And just as he says so and points, they do in fact make a hard turn in the opposite direction of where you're located. And it is clear that although they know a general search area, that they do not have a bead on you at all.
Oh, sweet. Thank Gluttony.
What did you just say?
Nah, never mind.
This is our life now, Xantor. There will be many nights like this. I do not know how we can make this better.
Rest and relaxation, peace of mind, unity, justice, truth, and honor.
If those things truly would bring peace, I would welcome them. But I have lived my life by that code, and it seems chaos is the only constant.
Fuck yeah. He reaches out for like one of those pirate arm handshakes.
You see that King Kenzie is quite confused by your reaction. He thought that he was saying a sad thing, and he just looks at you and cocks his head and sort of makes an eyebrow furrow, and he says,
Xantor, I will be all right if I never quite understand you, I think.
And he's going to turn, and he's going to leave you hanging a little bit.
Xantor's just nodding and smiling.
And he turns and walks, and he's going to continue his watch on the other side. This is just a taste of what life is like for the Happy Tricksters as fugitives. You will spend several weeks traveling through the woods as you attempt to make your way south to the city of Yamaya, where it is reported that your van has been sighted. While you will all be together during this time, sharing your experiences and growing as a group, you also each have your own individual perspectives. We're going to see through the eyes of each of our players as they journey through the next 2 weeks, making the passage through the forest and back roads of Visandia south to the city of Yamaya and the Beast Beaches. During this time, our players will also have leveled up 2 levels so that they are now level 5 in their chosen classes. We will take some time to learn about their character's development, both from the perspective of the player and the perspective of the characters. Xantor, why don't you tell us about your next couple weeks as a fugitive and the skills that you gain along the way?
Well, Xantor, that last exchange with King really, got him thinking about, is he charismatic? Does he need to be charismatic? Is talking to people going to be useful in this new world where he's not a pirate and he's not alone in the woods? And he's thinking, he's like, yeah, maybe I should, reach out to more folks. And so he starts having conversations with Owsley and with John Paul, with Elijah and Granny. He just tries to get one-on-ones with everybody. And he's like, just spending a little bit of time learning about people, really doing active listening. And he's, he goes up a charisma level because of this.
Let's try that out a little bit.
Alrighty. So, how you doing today?
Are you talking to me?
Elijah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just, another day in the woods. It's comforting. I'm used to, being outdoors.
Outdoors sounds great for you. You look like you're used to being outdoors. How was outdoors? Did you love it? Tell me more about yourself.
Man, I'm a little confused right now, man. This whole time warp and possibly never going back to our where we came from. Everybody we know is dead, and yeah, it's pretty wild, and I don't know, man. Maybe we can go back, but do we want to?
That's an excellent question. Do we want to indeed? I believe that maybe we have lost a lot along the way, but we've also found things. New families, new friends. I sure do love talking to you.
It was good catching up with you too, man. I'm always here if you need an ear.
So he takes him up on that advice, and throughout the couple weeks, him and Elijah have these little conversations here and there.
For the sake of continuity, I'd sure love to see Xantor attempt to have a pleasant conversation with Granny Glenda as well.
So, Granny, how's the ankle doing? I saw you fall out of that tree pretty hard the other day. You doing all right?
How dare you bring up an old woman's health like that?
I'm sorry, milady. You sure do slit throats well. God, yeah, I really admire everything about you, really.
Oh, are you just trying to make an old woman blush?
Yes, I am trying to make old women and men and yes. Good. We're having good conversation now.
You seem to be getting better at this conversation thing, but I would like you to try to convince me of something. I think that's the real art of conversation, is convincing other people other things. Like you, for example, you're not really a bug. You're a 500-pound elephant.
You gonna roll for deception?
Yeah, Xantor's head kind of tilts to the side as he thinks about Granny's insinuation there.
Yeah, it's gonna be 14 for deception.
All right, he half thinks he's kind of he takes a moment. He's like, God, you're really good at this, Granny. You had me. He looks down at his arms and stuff. He's like, I'm definitely a bug. I remember being a bug for a long time. I'm not an elephant or.
All right. Now you try that with me and see if you can pull it off.
Granny, you're an elephant.
Roll for deception with disadvantage.
You have, ears and a trunk and, you big... well, no, you don't want to talk about your feet. I got a 9.
Well, darling, it seems that, I'm a lot older than you, so I've had many years to practice this. So you just keep on trying your best, and remember, it's all about being descriptive. You can't just say you're an elephant. You gotta give them a little bit of an idea of what they look like and really make them question it.
Yeah,
make them think
great.
they're going crazy.
Make them So Xantor, he was at a -1 on his charisma, so he's just bumped up to a 0. He's not really anything that good. So he just reaches out and he's like, fantastic. And he reaches out to shake Granny's hand, because the handshake is another thing that he's associates with charisma or whatever. So he reaches out to shake Granny's hand like a gentle old lady handshake.
Yeah, Granny will shake his hand.
And he just smiles and nods his head and walks off. And in addition to talking to all the folks around camp and everything, he's also been practicing his bow skills. He's been setting up little targets, making targets out in the camp, and just whoosh, whoosh, doing a lot, maybe 2 or 3 hours a day of his bow skills, giving him an extra dexterity point. And just generally
is he practicing at all with his firearm?
With the shotgun? No, he's real conservative on the ammo with that still. He's still only got 4 shells in his bandolier belt, so he's he dry fires it a bunch just to make sure it's working. If he finds any, I guess there might be some skin oils on some of these creatures. He's looking for some kind of oil to make sure the gun's running smooth and everything. But he's not going to use any actual ammo for it. Just mostly crossbow shots into the tree and retrieving the bolts and repeating all that over and over again. And yeah, so a lot of that, just extra dexterity, extra charisma. I believe that's it.
You got
what else did I get?
An extra attack as well.
Yeah, a bonus attack. He's all this training and stuff is getting him a little sharper, a little keen. He's because he's always been a survival bug, out in the woods. But he's realizing that he's fought probably more in these last couple months than he's ever fought in his life. So he's like, man, if I'm gonna be attacking, I gotta be able to attack quick. So as he's practicing with his crossbow and stuff. He's also working on his reload time. He's also shaping up, little bolts and kind of, cutting out little pieces of the bolt so that his bug fingers can grab them quicker. And he's basically just trying to make the whole, like, firing, reloading process a lot faster, which is going to give him an extra attack.
And one last question. Does Xantor spend any time with his diary during this 2-week period?
I don't... Xantor's been thinking a lot about his past lately, and he's really looking forward to the future. If anything, he's putting in what he's learning from his companions. He's just writing stuff about Elijah and about Granny. How much he thinks about them, and just any little things that he learned during the conversations with him. He's making okay, Granny Glinda, she likes this, she likes that, doesn't like this, doesn't like that. Same thing with Elijah. He's just taking notes on mostly him and his companions, and it's not really any kind of diary stuff, just mostly notes for these past few weeks. He's preparing. He knows some big battle or something's going to come up, so he's just trying to get information pretty much for these last 2 weeks.
Right on. So the days pass and the nights fly by as you spend the next few weeks, as you spend the next 2 weeks traveling south through the forests and the foothills of the Malevolent Mountains towards the city of Yamaya and the Beast Beaches. We travel back in time. Xantor now experiences the world as a level 5 Drake Warden. We travel back in time to experience this same 2 weeks of travel from the perspective of Granny Glinda.
Ever since the interaction with the gods, Granny Glinda has been feeling a little bit darker and a little bit more of a shadow over her, and she takes a moment to go and be by herself for a moment, or be by herself and away from the group, and gather supplies in the woods, and she wants to look around to make sure that she doesn't see anybody following her or watching her.
Sure. So while she's out in the woods looking for supplies, in the distance, she sees a lone officer who has not noticed her yet.
Okay, she looks over at the officer and kind of has this moment where she wishes that she was invisible so they wouldn't be able to see her. And she kind of sneaks away back to camp to make sure that, she's not caught, and decides to not go get supplies. And as she's returning to camp, she tries to talk to everybody and notices that they're not really looking at her. And so she then realizes by looking in the reflection of the water that she has turned invisible. And a part of her level up, she got shadow touched. So she can now turn invisible once per long rest, and has illusory script, which can basically make secret messages for the group, so the group will be able to read secret messages that Granny Glinda writes, but other people outside the group will not be able to understand or read it.
Doesn't illusory script also let you make counterfeit documents and stuff like that?
I think it does. I have to double check.
I think that's the primary way it's used.
Nice. Fake tickets.
Turned into a little counterfeiting crew, ain't we?
Yeah. And along with the interaction with the god, she somehow feels even more charming than she was before, and she could talk her way out of anything, having interacted with a benevolent being and learning some of the mannerisms and actions of them. She kind of mimics that. And the last thing, as she's walking through the forest one day, a tree branch falls and almost hits her, but sort of like in lightning fast reaction, she dodges out of the way and only gets hit by half of the tree branch, which was uncanny dodge is what she got as a reaction.
All right, so the days pass, the nights go by, and Granny Glenda finds herself growing and becoming more comfortable with her group, has many new skills to explore and employ as she has become a level 5 assassin rogue. We're going to travel back one last time to see these past few weeks from the perspective of Elijah Woodstone.
Elijah's been contemplating to himself and, thinking and unsure of really, the direction that he's going as far as his home is concerned, and missing the Elder's book, but still having fun and still being able to do magic is cool. He was working on messing with that thing that he triggered when the cat attacked, and so he perfected his erupting earth is what it's called, and so practicing that a little bit on days and areas that he knows it's clear and like not going to be caught, the comfortable days, not the stressed out days where we think we're about to get caught again. And then he will also hang out with Owsley. Oh my God, I always get that name. And Owsley will teach him. Well, I guess I don't know if he teaches him or how it works, but I learned mending and how to repair things like anything from like our outfits to like the van if it needs a little repair job.
So the way that I see it unfolding, based on how it was introduced earlier, is that Elijah and Owsley both are learning these spells in their dreams. They're learning them and learning how to write them down in their spell books and then studying them out in the daytime. Gotcha. And so that's how Owsley originally got his knowledge that he imparted to you with the first few spells, and it's that's how it's unfolding in this world. So I imagine you're.
So I'll have him. He relates that one to me and shares that one with me, and then I actually had one that I was able to write down, but it's like really jacked up writing, but he's able to help me make it out, and that's going to be is a level 2 spell of alter self. I think in my subconscious I was afraid that people were looking for me, and so like
because they are.
Yeah, because they are. But my subconscious like gave me this dream to be able to like change the way that I look, so that way I can hide in plain sight. And alter self is pretty cool. It also lets me do like an aquatic adaptation of myself, to where like if I did get it trapped in a bunch of water, and I could swim and breathe underwater, like grow gills. And but the most important one is going to be the change appearance feature, where I just get to basically look like anybody I want that's similar size and shape to me.
All right. So if the days and nights pass, and Elijah grows more comfortable with the group and with his own powers here in this world, and he now experiences Luund as a level 5 transmutation wizard. These 2 weeks in the woods have been difficult, to say the least. Supplies are thin. You have had to hunt and forage to scrape by. You've grown slightly more gaunt from the lack of readily available food and from the days of hard travel. It seems as though no end is in sight as the crew meanders through the woods. For the first week, you're able to follow the river and receive the river's blessing of fish and water. But it makes a hard turn west to the sea, and in order to continue traveling, in the second week you must pass the river and travel south through the woods, using the light of sun as your only compass. Along the way, King Kenzie is able to get in touch with more of his clerical powers granted by Festivius, and he learns the ability to conjure food and water as a level 3 cleric spell, and is able to provide sustenance. John, Paul, and Owlsley work together to build small camps and help carry what few supplies you've managed to gather. In this way, you all travel the many miles towards Yamaya. The verdant forest, with its damp air, soon turns salty as you approach the sea. And one afternoon, as you travel, you see in the distance the forest trees have turned to palm trees. The dirt has become... I can hear you tapping into the thing. The dirt becomes filled with sand. And then, as though it was always there, you hear the sound of the lapping of waves. And in the distance, the sound of children playing on the beach as the group makes their first approach towards the beast beaches. And we'll pick up there next time as you emerge from the forest on our next thrilling installment of Wooks and Warlocks.
Round and around in the tunnel when it's dark we go, searching through the rubble for what once was spark like a shout in the night. And the sight of the past, it can fill us with fear all night, though we know the wheel comes back after time. Oh, sweet time. And the soul will rise from the ashes. We will climb as we shout into the night. Let no man mute my battle cry.
Wooks and Warlocks features Anthony Ryan as Xanthor, the Bugfolk Ranger, Jesse Bennett as Granny Glenda, half-foxfolk rogue, John Lombardi as Elijah Woodstone, the Elk Folk Wizard, and Trey Miller as Dungeon Master. Intro and outro feature the song Flight of the Phoenix by Tirefire. Recording and editing are completed in-house by the Wooks and Warlocks team, recording consultation provided by Adam Horwitz. You can find us online at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord under the name Wooks and Warlocks. Links can be found in the description. If you would like to sponsor an episode of Wooks and Warlocks, please contact us at wooksandwarlocks@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Dark clouds brew in a storm deep in the sky. Words spoken in anger, vibrant like a neon sign in the mind's eye, multiplied by time and time again. It's those we love that we lose when we struggle with what's inside, just hoping for hope, something to ward off the fright. And the soul will rise from the ashes. We will climb as we shout into the night.